Breaking news, Shakur Stevenson has stated that Devin Haney offered him a 75-25 split to fight next, but he rejected it, where he stated, quote, "I don't think I'm the A side. I just know my worth, and 25% ain't it. I didn't turn the fight down. That was supposedly the first offer. Haven't heard nothing since." End of the quote. Additionally, previously, Shakur said, "I'm not going to take 25%. That being said, it's time for Shakur to take his own advice, which is sign the contract. He told Devin to sign the contract, but Devin is not the one that's complaining about the contract. Ironically, Shakur Stevenson is. This is what Shakur asked for. He said, sign the contract. Well, in this case, Shakur should accept the offer because there is no contract on the table yet. It begins with an offer first. Once an offer is agreed to, then a contract is going to be drafted. Moreover, Devin Haney retweeted a fan and said, "Say it louder," where he said, "By the way, we just watched Devin Haney fulfill one of the craziest one-sided deals a fighter like him never takes to get a shot at Undisputed. He never complained about the money or his split. He took his check and beat the brakes off Kambosos." Devin Haney said, quote, "Was making around the same in my previous deal, but grateful for it all. Alhamdulillah." End of the quote. What a lot of people don't know is that Devin Haney was making more money before he fought Kambosos than when he fought Kambosos. Devin made more money against Jojo and Linares. He made $3 million plus, but against Kambosos in the first fight, he made, I believe, $2.8 million. So Devin had to sacrifice by accepting less money and to fight Kambosos 2 times in Australia. Kambosos made a whole lot of money off Devin Haney, but Devin didn't care about the money because he knew after he beat Kambosos, he was going to be the A side moving forward, which that's exactly what ended up happening. Now, Shakur Stevenson is in the same shoes Devin Haney was in against Kambosos. So the $1 million question, will Shakur make the necessary sacrifices in order to become the A side like Devin Haney did? Just like Devin Haney had to accept whatever deal, Shakur now has to accept whatever deal Devin Haney gives him. After all, Shakur said it himself. He knows he's not the A side. Devin has all of the belts, but even with the belts aside, Devin Haney is the bigger name. He sells more tickets. He's been making 2 to 3 times the money Shakur been making. So when you factor all of that in, the fact that Devin Haney has been making more money, he's the more popular fighter, and the fact that he's undisputed while Shakur is only the mandatory, then the obvious answer is Shakur needs to take his own advice, which is sign the contract. But in this case, accept the offer. After all, Devin Haney had to do that against Kambosos. Floyd Mayweather had to do it when he was Pretty Boy. Therefore, in order to become the A side, you have to believe in yourself and make the necessary sacrifices in order to get to that position the way Floyd Mayweather and Devin Haney did. Furthermore, there is nothing wrong with Shakur wanting more money or a bigger split if he believes he's worth more. In fact, I agree with him. If you believe you are worth more money, then activate your mandatory if you believe you're worth more. At the moment in time, the $1 million question, Shakur said he was going to activate his mandatory, but he never did. So why is that if he wants more money and a bigger percentage? Remember, like I discussed in my previous video, which I'm going to leave a link for that video in the comment section below, the mandatory position is not a set number. In fact, it's based on the fighter's worth, more specifically, the average of the last 3 salaries of each fighter. The purse split is calculated based on the ratio of that. Shakur Stevenson is well informed on that because when he was hearing mandatory, he activated his mandatory, and the purse split ended up being 63% to 37% in favor of the mandatory Shakur Stevenson, not the champion hearing. Therefore, if Shakur believes he's worth more than 25%, then he should activate his mandatory against Devin Haney like he did against Herring. Especially when you factor in the undisputed champion Devin telling Shakur, activate your mandatory. Last but not least, when Shakur says, I didn't turn down the fight, that was supposedly the first offer, haven't heard nothing since. But Shakur clearly said he is not going to accept 25%, nor he's going to activate his mandatory. Plus, Top Rank, according to my inside sources, told Team Haney that they want to look at other options because the Shakur Stevenson fight is not going to happen, which goes hand to hand with Shakur Stevenson looking at other options on Twitter. He's calling out Edwin De Los Anjos, Linares, Jermaine Ortiz, so on and so forth. Therefore, it seems like Shakur already moved on, and he's not negotiating the fight with Devin Haney because, like I said before, Top Rank already told Team Haney, let's look at other options. So if Shakur is not going to activate his mandatory nor accept the offer that's on the table, then it's clear as day that the fight is not going to happen next due to the fact that Shakur turned down the fight or rejected Devin Haney's offer, however you want to put it. However, what Shakur should think of before turning down the fight or rejecting the offer is that 25%, if it don't go to purse bid because Shakur doesn't activate the mandatory, that 25% is still going to end up being Shakur Stevenson's biggest payday to this day. And when you factor in he's fighting for undisputed as well, it's fair to say if Shakur wins the fight, he's going to end up becoming the A side over nearly everyone. Better yet, if Shakur activates his mandatory position like he should have, he may end up getting 35 to 40% per split, which makes no sense why Shakur activated his mandatory against Oscar Valdez and Jamal Herring, but not against Devin Haney, if he truly wanted the fight. With the facts being laid out, drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe below, and to be continued on the next episode of Akhi TV. Peace out.
Let's just say that Haney wins the fight against Loma, and let's say Tank wins his fight against Ryan Garcia. Which side would you rather go? If he fights Devin and he wins all of the belts. If he fights Tank and he beats him, he doesn't win any of the belts, but his star power goes through the roof, man. Which one is, more appealing?
I mean, it don't really matter with us. I think both of those guys are just about equally as special. So, you know what I mean? Our stock rises, being victorious with either one. So,
do you think your stock would rise the same amount if you fought a Devin as opposed to actually beating Tank?
Yeah, I don't think it's that big of a difference. I mean, we just look forward to it, man.
I gotta ask you, why exactly do you think it's not really that big of a difference? Tank is arguably top 2 biggest stars in the game right now, top 2 or 3.
Yeah, I mean, you can say that about Tank, and you can also say Devin got all those belts. You know what I mean? It's like 6.5 a dozen. So, but we all have our own opinions.